Put your faith in the light.
Hello guys, welcome to another one of my videos. This is Lightblade, and well, in this one we have huge news about the Retribution Paladin rework. Blizz dropped this blue post a few hours ago where they gave us some insight on the changes that they're doing on Retribution Paladins in 10.0.7, and we also have some spicy data mining that we will be talking about later in the video. But now let's go into the changes. The most important one that we can get from all of this is the Retribution Aura rework. So basically Blizzard is finally making Retribution Aura an actual aura, something that's going to help the whole group and not only the Retribution Paladin, because let's face it, in Dragonflight and in the past, getting free wings when somebody die, it's not an aura, that's just a selfish effect that happens on us. Okay, so now Retribution Aura is going to grant everyone in the raid or group 5% damage and healing for 10 seconds whenever someone takes more than 50% of their health in one hit. This can only occur every 30 seconds. So this thing is going to be proccing left and right all the time when it's off cooldown in raid and Mythic Plus situations, because you all play the game and see how people take damage. So you're always going to be getting those 10-second windows of free damage, which is really nice for some utility that Retribution Paladins can bring. Okay, so the next change is going to be that we're getting an old passive that we lost in BFA. So now that Retribution Aura is going to work that way, we are still going to get wings when somebody dies, but this is not going to be linked to the Retribution Paladin. It's going to be a baseline passive that whenever somebody dies in the group or in the raid, we get wings for 12 seconds, which is just really good. I think this is the best approach Blizzard could have done with this spell, you know, splitting the two things. We still get free wings when people die, but we also benefit the group with our Red Aura giving free damage and healing. Okay, now let's go to the second biggest change. And this is that they're removing Seraphim from the Paladin tree. Yes, Seraphim is no more. According to Blizzard, it's one of the biggest culprits in the bloated cooldown stacking of Retribution Paladins. And it also doesn't feel impactful or good when you press the button, and I would have to agree. I actually called that this was going to happen in my previous video where I talked about datamined spells, where I said that either Final Reckoning or Seraphim were going to bite the dust. I personally do not hate Seraphim, but that's when I don't have to actually press the button and spend holy power on it, you know? Seraphim felt good when we had it as a 50% uptime proc at the end of Shallowness. It made the game snappy and it felt like a hack and slash where we had to get the most of the small 4-second window that we have when we got the proc, you know? But currently it just feels clunky having to use it as our first global in the Crusade window. It just doesn't have that oomph, you know? At least Final Reckoning is a massive blast of damage that feels good when you use it, but Sera just doesn't. On that note, they are also removing Sanctified Wrath from the class tree, but I'm thinking they are just going to move it to the Retribution Paladin specific tree, which that brings us to the third change that they are doing, which is moving Divine Toll to the class talent tree. And this is what leads me to believe that they are going to move Sanctified Wrath to the slot that Divine Toll used to have, you know, because Sanctified Wrath is kind of iconic, like the explosions of damage, the uncapped AoE, and all those kind of things are really nice, you know, and they are not an actual damage multiplier because it's just flat damage that you do to everything around it, around your targets. While they're at it, they could also give back its 50% damage that it lost at the start of Dragonflight, since they want to redistribute the damage that Seraphim gave. Okay guys, now let's go to those spicy datamined spells that we have to end the video. Okay guys, so of those, there are 3 changes that caught my attention. The first one is that Execution Sentence will no longer cost Holy Power, at least in this build, which means that you can go into an Execution Sentence with 5 Holy Power and your Final Reckoning ready to go, which will actually give you a ton of extra damage in single target where you could use Execution Sentence. Since they are keeping Final Reckoning, this meshes really well with this spell, so maybe some Execution Sentences pop off in 10.0.7, who knows. The next change that caught my attention is that Sanctified is no longer going to increase the damage of Consecration by 100%, it's now only going to be 25%. So this is a nerf to the Consecration playstyle, which is something a lot of Retribution Paladins hate because, well, We do not like to be tied to that circle of consecration, you know, because tanks move away stuff and you feel really bad when you drop like 2 procs of consecration on the ground and the tank just moves stuff away from it and then all your damage stays behind. So I'm thinking this is good. They're nerfing the consecration playstyle. Maybe something better pops off in 10.0.7. And the spiciest datamined change that we have is that normal Wake of Ashes now will do uncapped AoE. As you can see here, it will no longer be reduced damage on secondary targets, which lets me to believe that they will get rid of Radiant Decree, because it's kind of redundant to have 2 spells that do basically the same thing, you know? Personally, I wouldn't mind having old Wake of Ashes back. It feels better as a generator than it does as a spender, you know? And well guys, that's all for the video today. What do you think about these changes? Do you like them? Do you hate them? Tell me down in the comments below. And if you like my content, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching everyone.